Bullies slapped the quiet girl in the hallway. She snapped his elbow. Before the teacher arrived, his laughter was still echoing when the crack rang out. A scream? Then silence. Connor clutched his elbow, his face twisted in shock. Everyone stared. In fear, others in awe. She had always been the quiet one, the invisible girl. But now they were all watching. What pushed her to snap? What did the bullies do to make her break? This is the story behind the moment she shattered his elbow and the system that let it happen. Welcome, story lovers. Where are you watching from? Drop your city name in the comments so we can see how far our story travels. Amara was used to silence, the kind that blanketed every hallway she walked through. A new transfer to this mostly white suburban high school. Her hijab drew more attention than her top grades ever could. She kept her head down, blending into the background, hoping to survive the year unnoticed. Each morning she sat alone in the cafeteria, her tray untouched, her notebook filled with sketches instead of complaints. Teachers praised her for being well-behaved, never asked why she never spoke. No one saw the snide comments slipped under her breath. Elbows bumped into her ribs in crowded hallways. The whispered slurs grew louder when no authority was around. But that morning, something was different. The silence in her chest felt heavier. And when the locker door slammed near her ear, she didn't flinch. She stared straight ahead. Her breath was steady. Because today, she wasn't going to stay quiet. The first push came near the stairwell, just hard enough to make her stumble. No one offered a hand. Instead, laughter bounced off the walls, followed by a familiar voice. Oops, didn't see the ninja. It wasn't the first time Connor, the senior linebacker, had called her that. But today his tone was different. Louder, braver. CRUELER. Between classes. It only got worse. A group of boys circled her in the hallway, mocking her accent, though she was born in Milwaukee. One boy knocked her books from her arms. Another kicked them down the corridor. No teachers in sight. It's just camera blind spots and silence. It's always silence. She gathered her books quietly, fingers trembling, jaw clenched. A crowd had started to gather, some whispering, while others filmed. That's when it happened. Connor stepped closer and shoved her hard against the locker. Smile for the camera, terrorist, he said. Before raising his hand, slow and deliberate, then slapped her across the face. Ah! Gas rippled through the hallway. But Amara didn't fall. She didn't cry. She turned, stared into his smug eyes, and whispered something no one could hear. Then she grabbed his wrist and twisted. A crack echoed through the corridor. He screamed. Everyone froze. Phones fell, and just as a teacher turned the corner, Connor collapsed, howling in pain, his arm limp at his side. For the first time, Amara spoke loud enough for everyone to hear. Never again. Chaos erupted. The teacher shouted for security. Students scattered. Connor sat on the floor crying out, clutching his elbow, his face pale with pain. Amara stood still, her breath calm, like she had been waiting for this moment her whole life. Amara, what did you do? The teacher yelled, rushing toward her. But she didn't answer. A camera was still rolling, shaky hands capturing every second. That video would go viral by sunset. Not just because she defended herself, but because someone finally had stood up in a school that had let too much slide for too long. She didn't just break Connor's elbow. She shattered the silence. Dear audience, if you're enjoying this story, don't forget to give it a like. It helps. The school tried to spin the narrative, suspending both students pending investigation. But the footage spoke louder than any excuse. The internet exploded with outrage, not at Amara, but at the system that allowed months of harassment to go unnoticed. Alumni spoke out. Teachers were questioned. Policies were reviewed. Amara didn't return to that hallway. But she didn't have to. Her voice echoed far beyond it. Her story sparked forums on racial bias in schools and how discipline is too often weaponized against the wrong kids. She didn't want to be famous. She wanted to be safe. But sometimes silence has to be broken loudly. How? Many Amaras are still walking those halls, unheard, unseen, until they break too. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to our channel for more powerful stories and new videos. Take care.